Welcome to a Chandler's Channel. I'm Tracy with your intuitive weekly vlog, and this week we're doing it on autism. Now, I don't know much about autism, but I will give you some information, and then when I'm done that, we'll go get Whitehawk and we'll see what he has to say. Now, this is my puppy Ollie. Look up, Ollie. Come up, up, see Mama. Come on, up. As a good boy. As a good boy. So this is Ollie. And see, when I think of autism and I think of ADHD, ADD, and highly sensitive people, I think of dogs as well because they're very sensitive to energy and overstimulation, and so the energy of overstimulation, right, which is rampant in our society now. There's so much noise and lights. People need to get out in nature more and stop, nature from being destroyed, because nature and humans and four-leggeds, two-leggeds, all the creatures of the earth, we all have a symbiotic relationship. And it's kind of like when I think of, what's the fairy there, her name? Oh, I love her, Tinkerbell. And in that story, that if you stop believing in fairies, for each person that stops believing in a fairy, the fairy's light goes out. Well, I kind of feel the same about humans and nature. For those of us who don't spend time out in nature or think it's just something we can dismiss by cutting down trees and just putting up concrete and homes, well, I think then we as humans suffer, and so does nature. I think there's that symbiotic relationship. And the reason why I have Ollie here, he's a Woodle, Wheaten Terrier and Poodle. And Poodles tend to be quite more a sensitive breed. Like with Ollie, you can't walk him down a very busy street because the cars going by and the noise really upset him. And I think it's very much the same with most dogs. But I think when we think of sensitivities, and the reason why I'm saying this during the autism vlog is that my sense is that is what autism is that it's a sensitivity. They're sensitive beings, just like dogs are, just like 20% of the population are highly sensitive people, and I did a vlog on that. So if you want to, go into my archives and have a listen to that, as well as the ADHD vlog I did where Whitehawk, who is my spirit guide, spoke on it, saying that they're sensitive beings. And I think all this comes into our world to teach us something, and no different than when someone has Down syndrome or is mentally challenged, or if we have an alcohol abuse problem or a drug abuse problem, or we end up with cancer. I think it's all here to teach us something, and I think that's what autism is here to teach us. Now, again, I don't know a lot about it. I just know that they're sensitive to certain things, and things irritate them and set them off. And so today, when I was getting ready for this, I started thinking not only about dogs and being sensitive, but also about dogs and being sensitive. But also about what if, and don't crucify me for this remark, it's just a what if. What if autism is sort of replacing what the mentally challenged child used to be, that you don't see as much in society now, because there's tests that you can take while you're in your very beginning months or beginning weeks of pregnancy, and you can make the choice whether you want to eliminate that or not. So what if it's coming in to replace that? And well, yes, there's also been studies that it's vaccinations and it's the pesticides and chemicals in our food, so it can be all that. And please, when I'm talking about the tests, and you can make a choice whether you want to eliminate and not continue with that pregnancy, I'm not judging you. We're all here to learn. As a parent, like, I struggle on my own with my two children, to struggle with whether it be autism or ADHD, or your child ends up with cancer, or autism. I think it's just all a very broad learning experience. But this is just me speaking about, well, what if it's this? Well, what if it is this? And in the end, it's all about learning, isn't it? And I think we all bring certain delight to the world through our differences and our challenges. So for me, my challenge growing up, and I didn't know I was highly sensitive until I got into my 40s. So imagine I had to deal with all that my whole life. And it's no different than if you're dealing with, ADHD, which I think has a lot to do with just an overstimulated society. Those are my own personal thoughts. Autism, maybe there's a link, a correlation. But these didn't exist when I was growing up. And so does it have to do with like the vaccinations? Does it have to do with the pesticides in the food? Does it have to do with the overstimulation of society with advertising, boom, 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 here, there, everywhere, so many television stations, so many radio stations, movies, reality shows, the violence that occurs in our culture through radio and television and movie, and here's how we stop it. If you stop giving it energy, if you stop going to those films and movies, if you stop going and watching those violent shows, if you stop going into the stores with loud music, or you ask the stores to turn down the music, and if they don't, then you walk out. So in other words, if you stop giving them, then they will not do well, and then they will have to stop, and they'll find a new way of bringing in money, right? So those violent movies would not exist as much. The loud music in the stores would go away. So it all begins with us, right? We have to be the ones that create or recreate our world, because we created it. We did. But we have to recreate it now, and it does come one person at a time. And if one person does it, then another person does it, right? And so on, and so on, and so on. So I'm just checking my notes to see if I've kind of said everything to say what I wanted to say. Yeah, it also comes, I think, about like writing letters to the proper authorities about, not destroying nature and taking down trees because we want to put up more homes or more shopping malls. I mean, it's so important that we have nature. It is the best therapy and healing tool we have as humans, and for our two-leggeds, our four-leggeds, the winged ones. Without nature, I'd be very afraid of what would happen to us as a people and human beings. And if we thought, ADHD is bad and autism is bad and highly sensitive people are bad, there would be a lot more going on. I think this contributes to the rage that occurs in the world and the anger, because there's no decompress. People are not decompressing. Getting into nature by water. And when I say decompress, I don't mean by sitting by a television or going to a movie, although people see that as ways and forms of decompressing. It's not. I mean getting out in nature and helping your body come back to its natural vibration of what it is, instead of being so saturated that it just can't take anymore, and then it just pops, right? Because that's the sensitivity. We are sensitive beings. We are spiritual beings, no matter which way you look at it. Inside this temple, this body, is a soul. And it is spiritual, but it is also very sensitive. And so I think what we're happening is we're meeting up with people who have more sensitivities, and they're teaching us. And perhaps they're the ones who are going to bring the society back to being a more calm and peaceful world. So amen to that. So those are my thoughts on that. Let's go in and see what, Whitehawk has to say. And please feel free to use the comment sections, to educate me more on autism and leave comments. Okay. As to what you think could help. Okay. Indeed. This word you use, autism, he says. It is not a familiar term, but it is one I understand which you speak of. And when we speak of this condition, he says, really, we are speaking of a nature that is just quite not understood yet, that is all. They are a new being, an enlightened being. One that, yes, indeed, we don't understand quite yet. And yes, indeed, we will continue to struggle to understand. But for the most part, they are indeed here to teach and to heighten, as well as to enlighten our world and our being in this world. And he blesses himself. He says, so let's give thanks for that. Amen. For most of you, he says, I think, who are struggling with autism, and I don't mean the actual being with autism as much as I mean the people around dealing with people with autism, you are priceless. You are a gift. And I think you need to know that. You are a gift to this person. You are a gift to the world. And so do not be angered or dismayed that you were delivered this path or this package within this being. Just know there is a heightened, enlightened way of you to be, to help, to enlighten society. So you, as the caregiver of these autistic people, know that in your heart of hearts, that this was your job to do, to always be a part of your soul's journey. So do not see it somehow as a jail sentence or a punishment, for indeed it is neither nor. Simply see it as a reward, that somehow you were the chosen one to come and to deal with this and these people. For indeed they need you now, and they have always needed you, and they need you more than ever. So know as you go through this arduous journey, at the end of the tunnel, there is a light for you. He blows you guys a kiss. There is a light for you at the end of the tunnel. Now, for most of you who have come to somehow be given an antidote or advice, and I feel a lot of sadness surrounding this, or a lot of sadness all of a sudden come. No, children, he begins, don't be sad. You weren't bad. You did not do anything wrong. You are just you. And these children have come indeed to teach us so much that indeed the ones who are here living now will never see the results of. Not in their lifetime anyways. But the ones that come after will. And they will understand. And they will move forward with an understanding and a knowing. So know in your heart, children who are dealing with this, or who have this, you are loved, and you are always loved. There is nothing wrong with you. You have not been punished or been given some form of jail term. You are just you, And you are moving on forward on your path with this heightened, enlightened information. So move forward on your path and know we are always watching you, always loving you, and knowing that you are doing the best you can with what you've been given, children. God bless. Just keep moving forward. Just keep moving forward. God bless, children. Thank you, Whitehawk. Well, that wasn't what I was expecting, but then again, it often isn't. So I hope you're able to take just a tidbit of a golden nugget, a nugget of gold of, I don't know, comfort, knowledge, love, delight from that for you in your life to help you move forward somehow and know that you are blessed, having been to be involved with autism at some level, whether it be you who has it or whether it be you who's a caregiver or a teacher or some form involved with it. So that is our vlog, and I feel very blessed actually to have been able to deliver that message. All right, so on Thursdays it is our intuitive weekly reading where Whitehawk and I again come and we give you foresight, healing tips, and guidance for your week ahead, helping you to get through and to create an awareness in your life about how the cosmic energy, the collective energy, how it can affect us all, how it affects us on a primary level, but how it affects us also on a global level. So please join us for that. If you enjoyed what you heard here, please give me a thumbs up. Like I said, leave a comment if you have anything you'd like to educate me about on autism or anything else. Love to hear from you. And subscribe. It's free. And if you have an idea for a vlog that you'd like to hear me and Whitehawk do on a subject, please also leave that in the comment box. God bless. I'm Tracy for a Chandler's Channel.